Hi, everybody. Hello. Says I'm live. How are you? That's my crazy basement in the background. I don't know why I had to change my seat today, but I changed my seat today. I am Kristen. I'm the library director for the Island Free Library. Hi, Dad. Maybe I changed my seat so my dad could remember we haven't finished the basement yet. We only got halfway. We did the one room, not the two. Oh, boy. Hi, it's hot today. How's everybody doing? Oh, I had a water. I have a sip left. I'm going to take it. Welcome to Frankenstein Tea, daily program from the Island Free Library. I am Kristen. I'm the director of the Island Free Library. I am on Block Island. This is my home. I deliver this program to you. I try to deliver it live as many days of the week as I can. It is a daily program and it is generally live. Although I was tempted by the ocean all day long. I'm frankly surprised I'm still sitting in my house here at 3 p.m. But that's how it goes when you have laundry to do and a room that needs to be picked up and dishes and yada, 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 chores. It's my first day off. My library schedule is Tuesday through Saturday. So Sunday and Monday I have off. And so, I'm catching up, being a parent and being a librarian here on this program. Really, that basement is gruesome, but that's okay. Maybe that's okay. Frankenstein Tea is a short story program. I read a story to you. You get to listen. It's a chance for us to check in with ourselves. How are you doing today? How am I doing today? I just gave you a little bit about how I'm doing today. All well here on High Street on Block Island. I will say that yesterday, if you were on the show, you heard me say that I didn't think it was quiet out there. High Street is very quiet today. Very, very quiet. I think, I know they have stopped allowing mopeds to come up High Street. That's great. That's changed it's quiet. It's quiet. It's changed the tenor. Hasn't changed the whole game, but it's changed the noise level out on High Street. I would not have been one to complain about the noise of the mopeds. I think it's part of the game here in summer. But it is quiet today. That is a fact. Quiet out there. Maybe it's quiet everywhere. I'm not sure. But it's quiet here today. It's hot. I don't know if anybody's been swimming, but I hope people get in the water today. I know I'm going to go to the water later. This is underneath here, this is my bathing suit. And so when I put my last load of laundry on my clothesline, I will be heading towards a swim. Today, so this program is about short stories. I read one every day. And I've been thinking, someone has that in their email closing. Is it my friend Elspeth Crawford? Is she the one? I can't remember. And I can't remember how it goes. And I wasn't going to talk about this until I looked it up and got it right. And here I am talking about it. But it was something about we read to know we are not alone. That's a famous something someone wrote. I don't know, but it's in some close friend of mine's close signature, their closure on their email. We read to know we are not alone. Something like that. Maybe we write to know we are not alone. Literature tells us we're not alone. I'm not sure what it is. But that's I was thinking about it. Whatever that is, that essence it remains the same. That I share stories with you, and I come live to you to say, hey, we're not alone. We're all in this. We're all in this together. That part of COVID has not changed. Your public library on Block Island, the Island Free Library, is in this with you, and we will continue to be in this with you. Until whatever comes next. So this one came out of the book sale. We had this great book sale yesterday. We had a special book sale. Look at this big book of short stories that my staff didn't save for me. I had to take this off the sale table. Jeepers creepers. Got to get them with the program here, literally with the program, with the Frankenstein Tea program. This is Edna O'Brien's book. Edna O'Brien, A Fanatic Heart, Selected Stories. It was published by Farrar, Straus, and Giroux out of New York in 1984. Philip Roth wrote the foreword, also copyrighted in 1984. Chock full of stories, and my staff was trying to sell this book on me. Well, I snagged it. I got it. Maybe I'll put it in the library collection. For now, it is mine and ours to share for Frankenstein Tea. Great book for me to have at home for when I don't have other short stories to choose from. Lots of things in here. Fanatic Heart, Selected Stories, Edna O'Brien. I am reading The Call. I am reading The Call here on Sunday, August 23rd. The Call. She would be, or so she thought, over it, and over the need, and over the hope, and over the certainty of that invisible bond that linked them, when suddenly it would come back. It was like a storm. She would start to shake. One morning, this frenzy made her almost blind, so that she could hardly see the design on the teacup she was washing. And even the simple suds in the aluminum sink seemed to enclose a vast pool of woe. When she saw two pigeons in the plane tree outside, it smote her heart because they were cooing and because they were close. Then her telephone rang in the other room. Going to answer it, with the tea cloth in her hand, she prayed, "Oh God, let it be him." And in a sense, her prayers were answered, though she could not be sure, because by the time she got to it, whoever it was had rung off. She waited, trembling. He would ring again. There was sun on the trees in the garden outside, and the varying greenness of each tree was singled out and emphasized in the brightness. There was a dark green, which admitted a gloom that seemed to come from its very interior. There was a pale green, which spoke of happiness and limes. And there was the holly leaf, so shiny it might have just been polished. There was the lilac, shedding and rusted because of the recent heavy rain, and the hanging mauve blooms gave the effect of having dropsy. And all of these greens seemed to tell her of her condition, of how varied, of how sometimes she was not rallying, and then again sometimes she would pass to another state, a relatively bright and buoyant state. And sometimes, indeed, she had dropsy. Yet, he was not ringing back. But why? Ah, yes, she knew why. He did not care to lose face, and by ringing immediately, it would be evident that it had been him. So she busied herself with little chores. She drained the dishes and then dried them thoroughly. Her face on their shining surfaces looked distorted. Just as well he was not coming. She took the loose fallen petals of sweet pea from a vase on the window ledge and squeezed them as if to squeeze the last bit of color and juice out of them. After 20 minutes of devoting herself to pointless trivia, to errands into which she read talismanic import, she decided that he was not going to ring, and so to put herself out of her misery, she must ring him. He had lately given her the number. He had repeated it twice, and when last leaving, he had said it again. For 6 months, he had kept it a secret. It was his work number. He would not, of course, give his home number, since it was also his wife's. So why not ring? Why not? Because she found herself shaking before even attempting to dial. She foresaw how she would speak rapidly and hurriedly and ask him to lunch, and suppose he said no. She would wait for half an hour and then she would ring. In that half hour, her whole body seemed to lose its poise and its strength. She felt sick and ashamed, as if she had done some terrible wrong, some childish wrong, like wetting or soiling her bed. And she sought to find the root of this pointless notion of wrongdoing that was connected with an excruciating weight. She thought of previous times when she had been spurned by others and tried to marshal in herself the pride, the fury, the common sense that would cause her not to lay herself at his feet. She thought of the day when she would learn to get by, maybe learn to swim. And for an instant, she saw herself thrashing through a pool and kicking and conquering. She said, "If I ring, does it not make me the stronger one?" Her words were hollow to herself. The sun shone, yet her house had a coldness, the coldness of a vault, the coldness when you press yourself on the tiled floor of an empty, dark country chapel and beg your maker to help you in these straits. And for no reason, there crowded in on her mind images of a wedding, a slow procession down the aisle, a baptismal font with a rim of rust on its marble base, religious booklets about keeping company, and in the chapel porch, an umbrella with one spoke protruding. In imagination, she went out the graveled path under the yew trees and smelled their solemn, permeating perfume. She thought, "Yesterday I could do without him. Today I can't." And then she remonstrated, "You can." She was going on a train that afternoon to the country, and once on the train, no matter how great her unhappiness, she could not succumb to a frenzy. She thought, too, that if she rang him once, she might ring him at all hours. She might make a habit of it. If only he would sit opposite her, take her hand, and tell her that he had no interest in her. Then she believed that she would be free to let him go. Or was he going? Was she herself becoming narked? She saw him once a fortnight, but that was not enough. These clandestine visits were the crumbs of the marriage table, the making do with nearly nothing. Where was the bounty of it? Where the abandon? "You are what you are," she said. "But did others have to suffer so? Did others lie down and almost expire under such longing? No. Others swam. Others went far out to sea. Others dived. Others put oxygen flagons on their back and went down into the depths of the ocean and saw the life there, the teeming, impersonal life, and detached themselves from the life up above." She feared that her love of nature, her love of woodland, her love of sun on hillside and meadow, her love of wildflowers and dog roses and cow parsley, her love of the tangled hedgerows was only an excuse, a solace. Mortal love was what she craved. She imagined how he would come and pass by her in the hall, being too shy to shake hands, and walk around the room, inhaling her while also trying to observe, by the jug of fresh flowers or the letters on her desk, who had been here recently, and if perhaps she had found a lover. He had commanded her to, and had also commanded her not to. Always, when he lay above her, about to possess her, he seemed to be surveying his pasture, to sniff like a bloodhound, making sure that no other would pass through to his burrow, making sure that she would be secret and sweet and solely for him. Ah, what they were out on a hillside, or in the orchids of her youth, away from telephone calls or no telephone calls, away from suspicions where he believed she wore perfume deliberately so his wife would guess his guilty secret. She was watching the face of her telephone, following with her eye the circle of congealed dust about the digits, where fingernail never reached nor duster ever strove, watching and praying. She heard a letter being pushed through her box and ran to get it. Any errand was a mercy, a distraction, a slender way of postponing what she would do but must not do. The letter was from a stranger. It bore escape of a blue sea, a high, craggy cliff, and a flying bird. The message said, I thought this to be the bluebird of happiness, but fear it might only be a common pigeon. It wished her happiness and to be well. It was signed, a well-wisher, male. She thought, oh, Christ, the whole world knows of my stew, and she wondered calmly if this union she craved was something that other, wiser ones had foregone, had left behind at their mother's breast, never to be restated, never to be retasted. And she thought of her dead mother with her hair tautly pinned up and the wall of unvoiced but palpable hostility that had grown between them. She hoped then that she would be the same toward her man one day, withdrawn, cut off from him. Her mother's visage brought tears to her eyes. They were different tears from the ones she had been shedding earlier. They were a hot burst of uncontrolled grief that within minutes had sluiced her face and streamed over into her temples and wet her hair. The half hour had passed in which she promised herself that she would ring him, and now she was talking to herself as to an addict, saying, could she not wait a bit longer? Could her longing not be diverted by work or a walk? Could she not assuage the lump inside her throat by swallowing warmed honey on it, so that the syrup would slide down and soothe her? The needless pain there seemed to be intensified, as if a sharp current were passing through her. Could she not put it off until the morrow? There is no stopping a galloping horse. She went toward the telephone, and as she did it, it began to ring. It rang loudly. It rang like some tutelary ogre, telling her to pick it up quickly, telling her that it was the master of her fate, of her every moment, of the privacy of her room, of the tangle of her thoughts, of the weight of her desire, and of the enormity of her hope. She did not answer it. She did not know why she did not answer it. She simply knew that she could not answer it, and that she waited for its ringing to die down, the way one waits for the ambulance siren to move out of one's hearing, to pass to the next street. Is this love? She asked herself, admitting that she had wanted so much to answer it. The longing to see him, communicate with him, clasp her fingers in his, feed him, humor him, and watch him while he ran a comb through his hair, was as strong and as candescent as it had ever been. You had better go out now, she said aloud and quickly, but with a certain ceremony. She put on an embroidered shawl over the phone to muffle its sound. It would be 3 days before she came back, and she saw a strip of water that would get wider and wider. Green and turbulent it was, and in time, she knew, it would swell into a vast sea, impassable and with no shore in sight. Time would sever them, but as yet it was love and hard to banish. That was The Call from a book of short stories by Edna O'Brien. The entire collection is called A Fanatic Heart. Published in 1984. It's a collection, so I'm not sure if each short story has a different publication date. Some definitely do, but I didn't see one for the call. Okay, that is today's episode of Frankenstein Tea. Thanks for coming. I hope you stay cool, stay safe, wear your mask, keep your social distance active, wash your hands, maybe just stay home. Stay well, everybody. I'll see you here tomorrow for another episode. Bye. Peace.